board meeting to order. So all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Hudson.
Here.
Trustee Maravka. Trustee Richards. Here. Trustee Sluse. Here. Trustee Sturba.
Here.
All right, and before we get to public comments, we are going to swear in a newly elected official, Mr. Todd Sandberg. So Todd, come on up here.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Todd Sandberg,
Having been appointed to the office of village trustee
having been appointed to the office of village trustee
for the village of Peatone,
for the village of Peatone,
county of Will,
county of Will,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the Illinois compiled statutes,
the Illinois compiled statutes,
and the laws and ethics pertaining to municipalities,
and the laws and ethics pertaining to the municipalities,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of village trustee
of the office of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to go in the order of people signed in, and remember 3 minutes a person, and this will be your only chance to speak during the meeting as it usually is on public comment. So Victoria Bullard.
Hi.
Hello.
I was just wanted to comment on the air quality that the chickens might create, and I have enough trouble breathing as it is, and I was just concerned about that. So I vote no for it.
Thank you. Bruce Karstens?
I didn't want to speak, I thought it was just a sign.
Okay, no problem. Jody Becker?
My name's Jody. I live on Ratchie Road in town. I trust the board members of the village have done their due diligence and have obtained information from credible resources and reached out to local farms and households that have chickens. When an item gets as far to be on the agenda as an action item, it should be to the point that all information has been compiled, validated, reviewed, and discussed. As of recent, I believe Nick Sturba has obtained valid information, and a previous board member, Mike Jones, was diligent in pointing out the real estate aspect. Personally, I did not move into the city limits with the intention of owning a chicken, goat, mini calf, or llama as a pet. I believe a domestic animal is any animal other than livestock that lives and breeds in a tame condition and are kept as pets. I believe a pet is an animal kept by a human for companionship. The main distinction between pets and domesticated livestock is the degree of contact between the owner and the animal. Another distinction is the owner's affection for the animal, which is usually returned. The trend toward making pets outside of the accepted average animal is worrisome because owners can rarely provide for their needs and get bored with the time consumption of proper upkeep. Is the board ready to approve a goat? Because I will get a harness and a leash and walk my pet down the sidewalk, and it produces milk, such as chickens producing eggs. Is the board ready to approve a mini calf? Because I can also find a harness and a leash, call it a pet, and it also produces milk and be slaughtered for dinner. Does the board know what Pandora box they will open with a vote of yes for chickens? I would appreciate your vote for no in order to keep the village of Peatone a respectable place to live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine Mon?
Mom.
Mon, yeah.
I'm here once again, as I've been coming for the last few months, to show my support to allow backyard hens. They actually make great companions, and there's actually been articles showing that they're great, especially if you have anxiety. I mean, I love hanging out with my friend's chickens in Mokina, and trust me, she treats them as she treats her children. I've brought up a lot of my points in previous ones, so I won't go on about everything I've had to say. But I think we should be allowed to at least try to have it, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, but you guys gave us a chance then. But that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda?
Maybe yours.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I live in Peatone. The definition of livestock includes cattle, sheep, horses, goats, and other domestic animals ordinarily raised, used on a farm. Turkeys or domesticated fowl are considered poultry, not livestock within the meanings of this exemption. I'm here to say that yes, I think we should be allowed to have chickens in Peatone. I've been up here numerous times since January stating why and why we should not have chickens in Peatone. I just hope all of you did your research, and I hope you all come up with a decent agreement for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat Bowden?
Pat Bowden, 213 Crawford. Hi guys, kind of fun being on this side. Not for chickens, don't think you guys should approve it. I'm not gonna give you the reasons why. Everyone can speak way better about it, why I'm against than I can. If you do it, I would urge you to have really tight restrictions and allow the license to be rescinded if people are in violation of the license without a big formal process and all that. Just if, you know, the code inspector says you're not following the license, you should pull the license right away. And then the second is I would add a sunset provision to it that would make the ordinance expire after 2 to 3 years. And then if there are no problems and these nice ladies are right and nobody cares about chickens anymore, you can reissue it and then chickens can be around forever. If there are a lot of problems, we don't have to go through a big hugmo and pull it. So just have it expire after 2 or 3 years, and if it's great, reissue it. That's my thoughts. Thanks.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Rick Hansen?
Hi, my name's Rick Hansen. I own Rick's Rehab and Development and Peatone Bowl and Archie Sweet Treats. My understanding is 206 is ready to get pulled down again. I would like to be seconded on that insurance policy. The 5 people that I've seen come out there said that they're afraid that the building is going to fall on top of my building. So I would like to verify that I am on that insurance, so that way the demolition person pays for it, not taxpayers. Secondly, it's another historical building being torn down in historical Peatone. It's structurally sound in my behalf, in my expertise. If we were going to put $47,000 of the people's money into this house, maybe we should have put new windows and painted the building. Then the house would look good. You probably would have been able even to get the front porch done for the amount of money that this administration is putting into this property. And that's it. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Mandy?
No.
You good? Jolene? Matt?
Greetings to the village representatives. I want to personally thank you for listening to our requests and making a consideration to put this item on the agenda that we've been coming up and speaking about for quite some time, to allow for laying hens in the village limits. With reasonable limitations set in an ordinance, our village residents will have the option to see if chicken keeping will benefit their household. We're not forcing chickens upon people who don't want chickens. And, you know, if you keep them contained in your backyard, other people don't have to worry about it. This process and change has been long, and we've learned a lot through it. Before soliciting a change, I was kind of ignorant to policy, and we had to research and provide a lot of valid information, including other policies and procedures that have worked in other villages. Being that we're a community surrounded by agriculture, our high school teaches ag, FFA, it only makes sense to continue that on in the households and give families the opportunity to keep backyard chickens. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda. We just have two items on the consent agenda. Approve the minutes from the May 8th, 2023 regular village board meeting, and the payroll and accounts payable. The payroll for the pay period ending 5/13/23, an amount of $63,011.41. Accounts payable for the period ending May 19th, general fund $61,737.01, building permit escrow fund $4,150, motor fuel tax fund $10,038.28, capital improvement fund $14,604.75, business development district fund $44,662.50, and the TIF 2 fund $84,830.92 for a total of $223.46. And did you get a copy of all those bills? Did you sign them?
I did.
Okay, good. Any item that any of the board would like to remove from the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Moved by trustee Sluse, seconded by trustee Sturba.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Richards?
Yes.
Trustee Sandberg?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
All right, staff committee reports. I didn't see Angie here from Aqua. Again, they are flushing their hydrants in town, so be aware of that. Saw Bob back there. You got anything to report?
Was that on the list, Dr. Mark?
What's that?
That was a joke. That was a joke. Just a couple things. 88th Avenue is in full swing, as some of you may have been by there. I'm still waiting for cost estimates from Robinson on MFT and the sidewalk program. Banners are up. Flags will be up this week. Flower pots will be up this week for Memorial Day. I want to thank Johnson's for doing a great job as always.
When you planted, the planters look nice too. Thank
Planters are
you.
down. Yeah. So, and the street sweeper will be out this week. One thing I do want to bring up to the residents, I've noticed in the past couple weeks, grass in the street. Please blow the grass into your yard and not onto the roadway, please. So,
And tell us why.
causes flooding issues, clogs the storm sewers, and it just looks like garbage. So, please don't do that. So,
Questions for Bob? All right, thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
Troy couldn't be here, but you want to read his report?
Yeah, he's got two items that he wanted to report out on MFT street resurfacing program this year. They're wrapping up their plans and specs, and they're going to send that out to IDOT for review tomorrow. The bids look like, quantity prices look like they're coming in a lot lower than they have in the past, so that's good news. We'll be looking to have a bid opening possibly around June 20th for those. Then the sidewalk project for this year is Corning Avenue west of Illinois 50 and various other locations. They're currently compiling the quantities and locations for that, and I'll have a draft for the village to review later this week.
Very good. I think that's all the committee reports. As far as my comments go, coming up on Mondays is the Legion's annual Memorial Day celebration. I believe they're just doing it at the cemetery. Bob, do you know, they're not doing the parade this year, right?
They are good.
They are doing it?
They are.
They are, okay.
Yeah.
So that usually kicks off around 10 a.m. and you can go out to the cemetery. They always have a nice ceremony out there honoring all the war dead, and it's a really nice small town celebration. So I encourage everybody to take part in that. Garage sales are coming up June 16th and 17th. Make sure you get your application into the Village Hall. Bob touched on the construction. Just please be careful around I-57, you know, for the next 6 months. It's gonna be a mess out there. You know, the road gonna be shifting one side to the other, so please go slow out there. We certainly don't want anybody getting hurt out there. I think that's about it. So old business, we have none. New business, special event and amplifier permit for the Peatone Chamber of Commerce. Small Town Sounds Music Event, June 24th from 12 noon to 8 p.m. Road closures at Main and 1st Street and also North and 2nd Street. So Julie, you were gonna speak?
Yeah, they're having a band from 1 to 4 in Main Street Dance's parking lot. So they were asking for 1st Street to be shut down from 12 to 5, from Corning to Main. And then there's another band playing from 4 to 7, and the streets that they would like shut down would be 2nd Street from Main to North, and then North Street from basically where it ends there, where 2nd and North meet to Railroad, from 2 to 8. So there's 2 different bands at 2 different times.
Okay. Questions at all or comments?
I see they got a petting zoo and a,
No, that's different.
it's something different?
That's something different.
So
Okay.
they originally were gonna have, this exclusive realtors was gonna have an event at the same time, but they have informed us that they're not gonna be doing it.
Okay, all right,
So it's just gonna be the bands.
all right.
So just the bands, Julie, nothing else, no food trucks or any other activities, just the bands?
I believe it's just the bands.
So this is a special event and a,
Yeah.
and
Amplifier.
Amplifier.
Okay. Their motion to approve?
motion?
Second.
Is that you motion?
She beat me.
She beats you, okay. Moved by trustee Sluse, second by trustee Hudson, to approve the special event and.
Trustee Richards.
Oh, I'm sorry, trustee Richards and seconded by trustee Hudson for the special event and amplifier permit.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Richards?
Yes.
Trustee Sandberg?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse? Yes. Trustee Sparrow?
Yes.
Okay, so item D, the special event permit, that is, they had withdrawn their application for that, so we're not gonna take any action on that. Item E is a motion to approve an ordinance amending chapter 91 of the village code to establish regulations for the licensing, permitting, and keeping of chickens within the village. This would be 23-10. And for everybody listening, I'll just kind of go through the highlights of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it. So we're going to amend our keeping livestock, which it's unlawful except for chickens must be kept in conformance with section 9114, which is a new section. So keeping chickens. So definitions first. Coop is a structure housing chickens. Chicken is a female of the species, and there's a scientific name there. A run is an enclosure connected to coop for purpose of allowing chickens to leave the coop while remaining in an enclosed, predator-safe environment. The village is the village of Peatone. So license and permit required. No person shall keep chickens within the village without first obtaining a license. Therefore, issued by the village, any run, coop, or other enclosure used for housing chickens may be erected or utilized only after obtaining a building permit as provided for herein. So the license and permit process. An applicant for a license for keeping chickens or for a building permit for any run, coop, or other enclosure used for housing chickens must submit the following to the village clerk. A completed application on forms provided by the village, a plat of survey accurately depicting the potential location of the run, coop, and other enclosures used for housing chickens on the applicant's property, the required fee of $100, and any required building permit fee for a run, coop, or other enclosure. The building permit fee for a run, coop, or other enclosure used for housing chickens will be the same fee as for a shed. Tenants seeking a license for a rented property must submit a copy of their current lease and written evidence that the landlord consents to said application. A license for keeping chickens shall not be transferable. It does not run with the land and shall terminate and become invalid upon the licensee no longer occupying the property. License for keeping chickens shall be granted on an annual basis. If the village receives no complaints regarding the licensee's keeping of chickens, the license will be renewed at a cost of $25. Number of chickens, no fewer than 2, no more than 6. Roosters are prohibited. All chickens kept in the village shall be entirely confined in a run, coop, or other enclosure used for housing chickens at all times. Location of the structures, runs, coops, and other enclosures used for housing chickens shall be permitted only in conjunction with a single-family detached dwelling. Shall be located only in a rear yard, shall be erected or maintained at least 30 feet from any structure authorized for residency other than that of the owner, shall be located at least 10 feet from the applicant's primary structure, and shall otherwise conform to the setback requirements for accessory structures within the applicable zoning district. Requirement for fencing, rear yards housing runs, coops, and other enclosures used for housing chickens shall be surrounded by a 6-foot privacy fence. Requirements for structures, a coop or other covered inside enclosure shall be provided for housing chickens, should provide a minimum of 2 square feet per chicken. Runs shall provide not less than 8 square feet per chicken. Runs, coops, or other enclosures used for housing chickens shall be constructed of quality, durable building materials. Outdoor shelters shall be constructed and maintained to be weatherproof in order to withstand inclement weather and extreme weather and to be secure from predators. Runs, coops, and other enclosures used for housing chickens shall be designed and constructed with adequate ventilation in a manner that allows them to be easily cleaned. Maximum height for runs, coops, and other enclosures shall not exceed 8 feet. For a pitched roof, the 8 feet measurement shall be the midpoint of the pitched roof. If electricity is installed in the coop, it must be installed underground. Extension cords or above ground wire are not permitted. Any electrical work requires an electrical permit. Maintenance of sanitary conditions, runs, coops, and other enclosures used for housing chickens shall be kept clean, sanitary, and reasonably free from all refuse and waste. All refuse and chicken waste shall be disposed of in a clean and sanitary fashion. Miscellaneous regulations, all feed shall be kept in rodent-proof containers until put out for consumption by the permitted chickens being kept. Slaughtering of chickens is prohibited. Odors from chickens, chicken manure, and other chicken-related substances shall not be perceptible at the boundaries of the property where the chickens are kept. It is hereby declared a nuisance and shall be unlawful for any licensee to allow such nuisance to exist at the boundaries of the property where the chickens are kept. No license shall allow chickens to make noise loud enough to annoy or disturb the comfort, health, peace, or repose of reasonable persons of ordinary sensibilities, and is hereby declared a nuisance and shall be unlawful for any licensee to allow such a nuisance to exist. Breeding or the sale of eggs and chicken products shall not be permitted. Right of entry for enforcement. Village officials shall be empowered to enter upon any premises where chickens are kept and where there is reason to believe that chickens are kept to enforce the provisions of this section. Suspension, revoke, and non-renewal 1-year wait for new license. So whenever a licensee violates or fails to act in conformity with the provisions of this section, or any other provision set forth elsewhere in this code, the license for keeping chickens may be suspended or revoked, and the village may refuse to renew the license following a notice and a hearing before the village administrator. If a license for keeping chickens is revoked for any cause, no license shall be granted to the same licensee for keeping chickens for a period of 1 year from the date of revocation. Summary suspension, where the code enforcement officer presents to the village administrator sufficient evidence demonstrating probable cause to believe that the licensee has violated the provisions of this section or state or federal law, and that said violation will be immediately threaten the public health, safety, or welfare, the village administrator may, upon the issuance of a written order stating the reason for such conclusion, and without prior notice or hearing, order the license structure for the keeping of chickens closed and the license summarily suspended pending a hearing and determination on suspension or revocation. The licensee shall be provided a copy of the order and a notice of violation. A hearing shall be commenced not more than 10 days following the entry of such an order, unless the licensee shall agree to a longer period of time. The decision of the village administrator following the hearing shall be in writing and shall constitute a final determination. And finally, removal of structures, runs, coops, and other enclosures used for housing of chickens shall be removed within 60 days upon a licensee no longer keeping chickens, upon a licensee no longer occupying the property for which a license for keeping chickens was issued, or upon a license for the keeping of chickens having been revoked. All right, so that was a lot. One thing that I did speak with our attorney beforehand as far as the right of entry for enforcement. I think we should put in there a time, like, you know, they should be given 24 hours notice, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I don't think we should change this ordinance. We have an ordinance in place, it's been in place for a long time. Many of the residents are against this, they'd like to keep the original ordinance that we have. Many of our communities support our current ordinance, so why change it? Let's stand up and be bold and enforce our ordinances. If you change this ordinance, it's a sign of weakness, a failure to represent many people of our town. I'm not going to say majority because I can't measure it. I can feel it though, and I think it's a majority of our town. If you change this ordinance, many will be angry. This divides our community. People will lose trust in the village and this board to make decisions that impact their way of living. When this idea of having backyard chickens fails, it becomes a problem for the village and it creates a burden for our community. It's a code enforcement nightmare, so to speak. We have retired farmers that live in our town. They've raised chickens, they've retired, they've settled down in town. They don't want chickens. We have people that have lived on farms, grown up on farms. They don't want chickens. I want you to dig deep in your heart on this decision. Our community is asking you to enforce our current ordinance. This is not the type of change we need. This is not a change many in our community are in favor of. I say we vote no and we put an end to this once and for all. That's all I have.
Any other discussion?
I wanted to ask that if we did go ahead and get this approved, that we reevaluate the $100 license fee, because residents think they wanted a higher fee versus $100. They wanted one person had told me $1,000 sounds good. Now we all know that in this room that's a lot, but we probably should come up with a different number. That's just my opinion. If we do move forward with it, just a higher fee. Why? Because a child can go out and make $100, make this happen. I know there's a lot of expenses. I really feel that it'll bring it will make sure that that person that's doing this really wants to do this.
Okay. Anybody
Thanks.
else?
Would we be able to put something in, like Pat Bowden mentioned, like on a 2-year basis, and then look back at it without it being permanent? Is that something we can do?
Yep.
I would like to do something like that.
I would suggest 3 years.
3 years, I mean, that's fine, but something where it's not set in stone.
Okay.
We can revisit it.
else?
I have my concerns about if electricity is gonna be installed. Because I believe electricity will be run out there during the winter with a drop cord for the watering of the chickens. I think it should be required. It's tangible with me. I see nothing in here for ventilation, proper ventilation of the coop.
That's in there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. But I think the electricity, I can see a drop cord running across there in the middle of winter.
Any other thoughts? So, trustee Rich, is any thoughts on amount, if you don't like 100, I mean,
250, 300, something below, something in that area.
okay.
I'm good with that. The renewal fee the same.
The renewal fee, I mean, they've already put the initial cost in it, the renewal fee, I was fine with the $25.
I could probably agree with Todd on the electricity.
Mhm.
I could agree with everybody in the room on everyone's thoughts. It's a very heated subject. Very divided as well.
Okay, so, with what we have written, we're gonna add that electricity to a coop is required. Can you do that?
Yes.
You can. And also, we're gonna put in a sunset clause for 3 years.
Yep.
So it would be July, and this, I did mention that this doesn't go into effect till July 1st, because we need some time to put together materials. And, $250 for the permit.
Would the electrical permit be separate from that then?
Yeah. Okay. Any other discussion? This would be ordinance 23-10. Any motions?
Motion,
Second. With those three changes?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, and also the 24-hour notice of inspection.
Yeah, 4, got it.
All right, moved by trustee Sluse, seconded by
Sturba.
Sturba.
Trustee Hudson,
No.
Trustee Richards,
Yes.
Trustee Sandberg,
Yes.
Trustee Sluse,
Yes.
Trustee Sturba,
Yes.
All right, like I said, this goes in effect July 1st. And on to the next item, motion to approve resolution for waiving competitive bidding and authorizing acceptance of a proposal from KLF Enterprises for demolition at 206 North 2nd Street in the amount of $30,000. As most of you are aware, we've been trying to get that building down for quite a few months. We've had we've put it out for bid twice. The first time we got one bid, and it turned out he didn't really want to do the work. The second time we didn't get any bids, and we contacted this firm, and this is for demolition and asbestos removal. Questions, discussion?
Are they doing the backfill too?
Are they removing the foundation walls?
Is that in the,
Yeah, it's in the proposal.
it's in the proposal that they accepted?
Did I didn't look at it.
So it would be everything in the original scope, right?
Yes, except for utilities, that's already done.
Okay, this would be resolution 3-10. R-08, or 23-R08, right? Yeah, 23 dash.
Did it cut off?
Yeah, it cut off. All right,
Did the company have any issues with thinking that it was going to fall on the bowling alley?
No,
So how does that work with what he suggested with insurance?
I mean, I'd have to ask the company if they're willing to do that. They're already providing us with liability insurance, so if anything were to happen, it would fall under that. So it is covered.
Okay.
is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by trustee Sluse, second by trustee Richards.
Trustee Hudson,
Yes.
trustee Richards,
Yes.
trustee Sandberg,
Yes.
trustee Sluse,
Yes.
trustee Sturba,
Yes.
Item G, I need a motion to go into closed session to discuss acquisition of real property.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Sluse, second by trustee Sturba.
trustee Hudson,
Yes.
trustee Richards,
Yes.
trustee Sandberg,
Yes.
trustee Sluse,
Yes.
trustee Sturba,
Yes.
All right, and there will be no action coming out of the executive session.